At least 1 in 9 seniors is at risk of going hungry due to the inability to obtain sufficient food for their household, sometimes having to choose between food and medical care, according to Feeding America. Seniors who are malnutrition could be at greater risk of falling, having a weak immune system, and may suffer with depression. Joining us in studio to talk about some of the challenges seniors face is Gail Bagley, Director of Educational Programs with Comfort Keepers, and Nancy Guthrie, a VISTI volunteer. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gail, tell us a little bit about Comfort Keepers.
Comfort Keepers provides in-home care, mostly to the elderly who need a little help around the house with their activities of daily living. A mission of Comfort Keepers is to deliver the highest quality services of in-home care to seniors to enable them to achieve the highest level of independence and the highest quality of life while they're still at home and they're safe at home. Some of the services that Comfort Keepers delivers includes meal preparation, laundry, running errands, going to the doctor's appointments with the seniors, in some cases providing personal care such as help in the bathroom, personal grooming, medication reminders. Those are some of the services that Comfort Keepers offers. And there are currently over 700 franchises around the world.
That's great. That's great. Nancy, tell us about VISTI.
VISTI stands for Volunteers in Service to the Elderly, and currently they serve 4 areas in Polk County: Lakeland, Bartow, Mulberry, and Fort Meade. And their goal is to help people, especially people over 70, to stay in their home and to live independently. And they provide transportation for doctor's appointments and also hair appointments and to church and fun things like that. And then they also provide meal preparation a couple times a week, and they have commodity boxes twice a month, which is items that are pretty difficult for them to afford.
Is it like this box? This one here? Is this one of the boxes?
This is part of the food drive box, yes. And we so much appreciate what the community does to support VISTI, and they service about 4,000 clients a month with between the hot meals, the commodities, and the transportation.
Gail, tell us how Comfort Keepers is addressing the hunger.
Well, that's a very good question, Mary. Part of our job is to recognize when seniors need help around the house, things that they've lost their ability to take care of themselves in some ways. So Comfort Keepers has become very aware that at the core of a lot of the problems that seniors are experiencing is inadequate nutrition. That may explain why many of them are having problems with their memory or falling, or their immune systems are weakened. So Comfort Keepers several years ago developed a program called Nourish Senior Life. And Nourish Senior Life was intended and is intended to raise awareness throughout the Comfort Keepers staff and their caregivers and the clients and the community in general of the importance of senior nutrition. So we try to incorporate that into our training programs, into educational activities like we are doing today, and into the care that we provide the seniors. The highlight of our Nourish Senior Life program is the Feed Seniors Now annual food drive, which is, we're in the middle of the food drive right now. It goes until November 30th. And the purpose of the food drive is we'll be donating the food that we collect, non-perishable food, that will be donated to VISTI in Lakeland, the Meals on Wheels in Winter Haven, and the Lake Wales Care Center. So the Feed Seniors Now is the highlight of our Nourish Senior Life program.
Well, show me some of the stuff that you've got here. This looks really interesting.
Well, this is an example of one of the boxes that we have that we give to those who'd like to have a collection box at their location. Maybe it's a workplace or a school location. But we're looking for
specific. You're looking for specific things. So show the viewers at home.
Yeah, we'd really
some of the things that you've got in there, because I mean, people might be dropping off things that maybe are not exactly what you can use.
Exactly.
So,
well, some of the things that seniors really need are nutrient dense. They have a problem already getting enough nutrition, so they need to eat. What they eat is very important. So it's not just
tell me
being
what nutrient dense
not just
is.
being full, but having nutrients in it. So we all have too much sugar and sodium and salt.
Okay.
We don't want more of that. We want things that provide vitamins and minerals. So peanut butter is a good example of something that provides protein without a lot of extra junk. And tuna fish is another good example of how anybody, but especially seniors, can get good quality protein without a lot of the junk along with it. So we put those out here as an example.
Now, is there a specific kind of tuna? I see you've got chunk white and water. No, maybe.
No, we're saying tuna fish, not Twinkies.
Twinkies. Oh,
right.
Come on.
Right.
That's right.
Now, and you've got rice here, rice as well.
Well, rice and beans is a very good, well-rounded
beans,
meal.
So they would probably be better off if they contributed dried beans because they keep longer.
Well,
so.
canned beans actually is easier for them to prepare. You just put it in a pan and heat it up.
How can you spot somebody? Like, how do you actually identify people who need this program?
Well, I think the most important thing is about relationship. And so if you have a relationship with your elderly neighbor, or if you are able to volunteer in places like Visti, you spend time with them and you get to kind of see what their habits are. And one of the things that I did at Visti was to transport people to the doctor's office. And so I only had about 15 minutes with them, but I was always certain to ask them, are you hungry? I didn't ask them, do you have food? Because I knew just from experience that they would have oatmeal pies and Twinkies and all kinds of sugar-laden, yes, because sometimes it's hard for them to chew, so things that are soft, you know, are easier, right,
like that more so.
Rather than the things that fill us in the proper way. But if I ask them, are you hungry, I got so many different answers to that I would then follow that up with, if you're hungry, I'll make sure that we get you some good food. And so, again, it's just about the relationship and about being bold enough to ask them those kind of questions, because they like to hide behind my own parents. Did that on a regular basis. I would ask them how they were doing, and they would always say, oh, we're just fine. Or I would say, are your cupboards full? And they would say, absolutely.
Yes. Nobody wants to admit that they're struggling.
But their cupboards were full of food that was outdated, food that was spoiled.
Or not nutritional.
Absolutely.
Because they maybe just didn't have the education to know.
Yes.
You know?
And so if you can be bold enough to really get to the heart of it with them, and they know that you really care, then they'll tell you, and then you have a good relationship with them.
Gail, why are seniors at such a great risk?
Seniors have some very unique medical and mobility issues that may interfere with their activities of daily living. And we all know, we've all heard about seniors who, after working a whole lifetime to raise us and make this country great, that they're now looking at maybe paying for groceries or medicine. Which one did they pick? So we've heard that, and it's a very valid problem on why seniors are at risk. But the problem isn't always about money. We have clients that pay for care at Comfort Keepers who have the means to buy food, but they may have a plethora of other problems that may include depression. In many cases, a senior has lost a spouse and they no longer have the desire to cook or eat. They may not be able to get around and get to the grocery store or want to get around the kitchen. The elderly that suffer with Parkinson's disease that causes trembling, it makes it very difficult to get the food, cook the food, and eat the food. There are problems with vision, and there are problems with dentures. There are so many problems, medication complications that seniors have that most of us don't have to be concerned about.
These are things that we would never think of.
Yeah.
Unless you're experiencing these problems. You'd never think of it.
Exactly. And Nancy gets to see a lot more than I do by actually visiting the seniors in their homes. Many seniors are diagnosed with malnutrition when they enter the emergency room for something else. If they've fallen at home and they go to the emergency room, this may be the first time that they're ever told or diagnosed with malnutrition. And it's been estimated that more than half of those over 65 in the emergency room are suffering with malnutrition. So it's a very serious problem for seniors in particular.
Okay, could you tell us, Nancy, how can we at home help? How can we help identify?
I think if you have the opportunity to go into their home, again, back to the relationship part, where they will trust you. One of the first things that I do is I go in and I open up the refrigerator. And I look for food that is moldy. I look for food that is outdated. I had a client that had macular degeneration, and she was not able to really, she thought she was preparing food for her husband that was great to eat, but instead the refrigerator was full of mold.
And she had no idea.
She didn't. She had no idea. And he had dementia, so together, you know, it was kind of a disaster waiting to happen. So I always look around the house to see if there's any rodent droppings. I look for mold, and if I am able to go to a doctor visit with them, I try to listen to the doctor and ask questions to see if their medication is interfering with their nutrition and how best that we can help them. You'll see a lot of older people have a lot of soda pop in their house. They're not drinking water. They're not getting the right kind of nourishment. And so with just some prompting, sometimes they're just not aware of it, or they're from the Depression era. They don't want to get rid of anything. Then you just have to constantly let them know that this is important for your health. If you're going to feel better, then you'll be able to get out and do more things. And so if you have people that you know in your church, you can pop in on them while they have a meal. You can see how they eat. I just sent my dad some fruit. He's 92. He lives in Ohio, so I know what it's like to work with someone that's out of state. And I sent him some lovely pears. And
Nice. I bet you enjoyed those.
Well, he told me they were wrapped so beautifully he didn't think he wanted to eat
them.
And I just said, okay, Dad.
He's very grateful.
Yes, he was. I said, but you need to unwrap them and eat them, because he likes pears, and pears are so good for you. So those kind of things can really benefit them.
Gail, what can our viewers do to help?
Well, this is our call to action. We have the food drive going on through November 30th, and we're asking the viewers and the community out there to be proactive. In much of the clients that both Nancy and I work with, this is the greatest generation, the ones that made this country great. They took care of us, they raised us, and now they need our help, and they're not going to ask for help. So it depends on people like Nancy that go out and befriend them and earn their trust and have the ability to go in and look at the refrigerators and the pantries to realize that they do need help. So we're asking for food donations for this food drive, and in particular non-perishable foods, of course, that can be stored, and then at some point they'll go over to Visti or the Meals on Wheels or the Lakeland Lake Wales Care Center to be distributed to the elderly that need it. So please bring some food donations to our collection sites, which I hope you'll post on the show. And if it's a hassle, which in many cases it is, to go shopping to deliver donated foods, just write a check out, and it doesn't matter how much. Make the check payable to Visti, V-I-S-T-E, or to Meals on Wheels, or to the Lake Wales Care Center, and then mail it to Comfort Keepers. And I'll give you the address for Comfort Keepers whenever you'd like me to do that. It's a 708 South Florida Avenue, Lakeland, Florida, 33801. And we'll make sure that that money gets to the right location, and it'll be used for the nutritious food that our seniors need.
What if somebody wanted to have a drop box at their location?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. We have lots of them available. Visti has lots of them available, and so do we at Comfort Keepers. I'll be happy to drop one off, or you can pick one up at our location.
Can they have these boxes all year round, or is it only with your drive?
They can have the box year round, but the food drive is intended to rally, is a rally and intended to raise awareness of the situation. So this particular food drive goes from September 1st through November 30th, but of course anybody can donate at any time.
Ladies, thank you for joining us and talking about Feed Seniors Now.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And we encourage you at home to get involved with Feed Seniors Now food drive. Feed Seniors Now is Comfort Keepers' food drive to support senior nutrition, create awareness, and fight malnutrition and hunger. It's going on Polk County-wide till November 30th, 2014. Non-perishable food donations are encouraged. For more information and donation locations, give them a call at 863-701-9100 or look them up on the web at comfortkeepers.com.